Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs and time travel sci-fi nerds, to the second part of our summer retrospective on Back to the Future. Today, for Real Film Nerds episode 173, Mysterious Mike and I are discussing Back to the Future Part 2. Mike, as always, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty psyched to talk about this movie. It has, it has so many things that I love talking about in this movie. So I'm excited to talk about it.
You stopped and stuttered and said it had so much things. It took you like that long to figure out how to say so many things? Jesus, Mike.
No, I think I was trying to come up with something creative and it failed miserably.
It failed miserably? Is it because your mind was in the clouds with the SpaceX astronauts?
Yes, that's what it is. Actually, I was trying to figure out how I was going to weave in Jaws 19, but I couldn't figure out anything, so I blew it.
Yeah, it was a good try. At least you tried. You thought. You spun the wheels, and the wheels said, nope, sorry.
Yes.
All right, Mike, so should we just jump right in, or should we talk about Space Force?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of space news. There was SpaceX making history as the first contract or commercial space flight to with humans to the space station. Or there's the Space Force, which is making fun of the new, I guess, Space Force that President just enacted. So I don't know.
And then there's also all the horrible things going on in this world.
No. We don't need to talk about that.
I mean, dude, I don't know what your thoughts and feelings are on this. I'll just start with this and end with this. But at work, like most of the people I work with are very religious. And they're like, it's the end times. This is the Revelations. And in the book of Revelations, and it's just like, no, there's always been torment all throughout history. There's been plagues, there's been uprisings, there's been all kinds of shit throughout the history of man. Just because it's absolute chaos right now does not mean it's the end of the world.
Well said, Matt. Well said. I don't really want to talk about the other thing too much, but I will say it's fine to protest. I don't like all the violence that the rioting stuff. It seems out of context in my mind.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't like it when people start saying it's the end times, it's the end times, it's the end times, because clearly they are not students of history. Granted, I'm probably more than your average person. I really enjoy history. I have an issue, I guess, for some people. I took a bunch of history classes. I think I've talked about it before in school, just for fun. And so if you just look back in human history, there's always bobs and weaves and ups and downs and horrible times and good times. We're just in one of those rough times right now. Don't freak out. Don't think it's the end of the world. I also agree with your statements, Mike, about how the violence, we could go without that. Peaceful protests, very loud, large peaceful protests go a hell of a lot longer and farther in society than burning shit to the ground, destroying Fashion Square Mall, beating people on both sides, police officers and protesters. It's just, it only makes shit worse. I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy.
I'll stop after this. I got to say this one. Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I got to say this one because it impacted me yesterday. I don't know how it is out where you're at, but the state of Arizona, the entire state, is under curfew. Not Phoenix, the whole state. And the curfew is at 8 o'clock. And last night I had to take the back way home from my parents' house because someone decided to drag a chain through Sunset Point and lit the damn Sunset Point on fire again. so I had to take the back way to get home. Sunset Point, if I didn't take the back way home, didn't open until 5 o'clock this morning. That's how bad that fire was. And I blew through curfew and all that stuff, and I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, all right, back to the Future. I'll stop. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Back to the Future. Matt, you just want me to get into the rundown, or what do you think?
Yeah, Mike, do it. Let's hear the rundown for Back to the Future Part 2 from 1989.
All right. So this was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It was written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. It's starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Thomas F. Wilson. Elizabeth Shue is a new notable character, and she's playing the character of Jennifer. And after visiting 2015, Marty McFly must repeat his visit to 1955 to prevent previous disastrous changes to 1985 without interfering with his first trip.
I just would like to know, since we're now in the future, way past the future of this film, where the hell's my hoverboard?
Well, Matt, in the 30th anniversary edition of this, Doc goes back to the future, and he has to fix the future that we see in this movie because of all the different things that happen. There's some problems, and everyone gets too, was it too fat and too lazy? And then there's a problem with the nuclear reactors. They all have a simultaneous problem, so he had to fix it. It's in Doc Brown Saves the World. Discovered the inventions such as the hoverboard and the hydrated food will cause people to become massively overweight. Even worse, a simultaneous glitch in every nuclear Mr. Fusion device on the planet will cause a nuclear holocaust that decimates the world's population.
So how are we going to get bigger than we already are? I mean, is he saying like we're already there now, or like what's going on here?
I don't know, man. I wish, I haven't seen this. It came out with the 30th anniversary Back to the Future Blu-ray box set, and I do not have that. But I do believe you have that, and you're just a slacker and haven't watched it.
No, I have not. I've been watching the movies, though. You know, one thing that I found interesting, I guess this will lead into our streaming stuff a little bit. I've been bouncing back and forth between Netflix and Movies Anywhere and Vudu to see which one has the better stream.
Yes. For anybody who doesn't know, Matt got his 4K TV that he was talking about several episodes back. What episode was that, Matt? Like 160?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
65, 66?
Something like that. Yeah, I got it.
Middle pandemic area. Even though we don't know when it ends, but a middle pandemic area.
Yeah. What if we're not in the middle right now? But no, I got Vizio, the 65-inch 4K. It's not the tippy top of the line. It's like it's the 2019 model. It was $200 off. It's the bottom line of it's the bottom model of their top TVs, their top tier TVs. And it's pretty freaking amazing. But it's all 1080p is because I don't pay for the 4K Netflix yet. I don't have the data bandwidth yet either. I've been watching the 1080p version, plus that's the version I own also. I watched it on Netflix, Vudu, and Movies Anywhere. And Mike, which one do you think had the best stream? Granted, if I was truly doing this as like a test, I probably should have done them all simultaneously next to each other on the same screens with the same lighting and all that stuff. But this is just based on what I saw at the different times I watched it.
Movies Anywhere.
Yep. Movies Anywhere had the better picture, the better quality, and it filled the whole TV. There was no black bars like whatsoever. It was beautimous. It was very pretty. So when we do Back to the Future Part 3 for next week, or Part Trace, I'm going to watch it on Movies Anywhere.
Okay. Yeah. I think I think Netflix does a lot of optimization, and sometimes that can cut down on some of the quality things for the pictures. I do have the 4K stream availability, but I don't have a 4K TV or a device that is 4K.
Well, then why the hell are you paying for it, you goober?
I needed the 4 streams.
Oh, you get more streams when you up it. Okay. All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
then.
so there's 2 marketing things for it. It's you get access to any of the 4K content, and then you get 4 simultaneous streams. They used to not regulate the streams, but turns out they do need to do that to make sure that they're making some money. So I remember back in the day, you used to be able to have like 15 streams off of one account, and they didn't care.
So, all right, I don't have my hoverboard. I don't have my flying cars. I'd take a flying car over a hoverboard any day, but I think there would be one and the same. The Cubs won the World Series, but they were off by a year. They won in 2016.
They were off by a year. Yeah.
Yeah, not 2015.
That was still neat, though.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty wild that they nailed that. Yeah. Wish I could go back and put some money on the Cubbies.
Matt, come on. You know you wanted that jacket,
oh god, dude,
like
that was amazing.
The self-fitting jacket or whatever, I don't know. It was kind of cool. And then the Nike shoes, come on, the self-lacing shoes, which they actually made.
Yeah, they had a limited run when the movie came out, and they were really hard to find. And then a few years ago, I believe they put them back into production where the laces actually did do that. Like they actually did self-lace, but they were more mass-produced, and there was a lot more of them. So,
yeah, well, I think it's still super limited, like collector's edition stuff.
Oh yeah, it was like $1,000 for coming out of the factory. That's not even resale for those. And then let's see. The internet's nowhere in Back to the Future 2. They missed that one. The giant screens.
Yeah, I mean,
we got that.
Giant screens. I don't know. It's always so hard. Like when you make a movie and you're trying to set it in the future, it's like, how do you know what's going to happen, man? You
yeah. Well, being a tech person, Mike, there are a lot of futurists in this world. That's their job. And a lot of times the movies do consult the futurists. But, I mean, come on. We've been talking about people in general, not we. People in general have been talking about flying cars since the 40s or 50s.
Oh, yeah, man. Flying cars, I mean, the Jetsons, all kinds of stuff. It's been like a dream, I guess kind of a pipe dream.
Dude, I would love it. I want a personal plane, a flying car, something like that where I can get in and fly. Oh, dude, that would make my existence for sure.
What if it was could you imagine the air traffic control involved with having all these layers of different people just flying, everybody all the time? It's insane.
It would be absolute chaos. It really would. Honestly, if we did have that today, I mean, we have private airplanes today. Even a small single engine Cessna, average people can't afford it. Back in the day, my grandpa could afford it on an airplane mechanic's salary, but that was, what he was very passionate about. But today, I mean, Mike, honestly, how many people do you know that own their own airplanes?
There's only one person that I know, and it's a friend of a friend. And that's it.
I know probably about 5 or 6, and they're all related to Embry-Riddle in some way, shape, or form. And typically their private airplanes are 1960s, 1970s, 1980s single engine Cessnas that they're always tinkering and working on. So, but yeah, I mean, even private aircraft you can't afford. I mean, imagine what it would be with a flying car, how expensive it would be.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It would be really expensive, but I always think of scenes from The Fifth Element, and iRobot and stuff with all these just things just flying around and stuff. Like, it's crazy. Like, it would be so neat to have that stuff. Imagine how easy it would be to get somewhere if you didn't have to worry about roads.
Yeah. Not even so much the roads. It's just the higher you go in the air, the faster you move across the earth, kind of thing,
Yeah, not let alone that, but I'm just saying, like, if there's a point,
not having traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just like a point to point. You're like, oh, I don't have to worry about going some weird road that makes me go in this weird circle around it to get to this thing, because that's the only way you can get to it. You could just go there. It'd be so nice.
Well, one way I could see it work, but it would not be fun. For me, it wouldn't be fun. Is self-driving.
Oh, like the automatic driving stuff?
Yeah, like self-driving cars, but if they were flying, because then they would all be constantly talking to each other at all times. So then they would know where they could and could not go, and where, traffic patterns and all that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But you couldn't have anyone fly by themselves. They would always have to be self-flying, I guess you would say. Or else you would have shit slam into each other. Now that you could have like areas where it's like this is self-flying, but you couldn't have it be open, like how driving is now. Anyways, all right, we're getting like way techno crazy.
Yeah, whoa, wow. Yeah, all right, man.
Back to the Future Part 2. Marty McFly, Doc Brown, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So Matt, did you know that on October 21st, 2015, they many theaters across the country re-released this movie?
No, I did not.
Yeah, because that's the day that they went to the future. It's the day of the future in Back to the Future 2.
They probably did it here at Harkins, but when Harkins was alive and open and well, every Tuesday was Classics Night. I don't know if they did that in Flag or if they did that when you were working for Harkins.
No, not at Flag. At least when I was working there, we didn't have any real special things like that. The biggest special thing I remember when I worked there was in the summer they had something called Summer Movie Fun, and that's where they play a bunch of older kids movies and stuff, kind of early in the morning, and it's super cheap. It's like you can buy like the whole summer series, which is like 6 or 8 weeks for like $10, and like you buy those seats, and then all these families and stuff would come in and destroy the theaters before we opened for the normal day, and it was like chaos. It was weird because it was like a sold out movie in the morning, where everyone, when the movie's over, just takes their popcorn and throws it in the air.
Well, Mike, to your dismay, I'm sure that still exists, because I remember running into that a few times when I was at Harkins. I was like, that's a lot of people leaving this early. And no, it was the Summer Fun series for kids or whatever. Yeah. But no,
yeah, I mean, they used to call it Summer Movie Fun. They might have rebranded it, but anyway, that's what they called it.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I'm not allowed to go.
Yeah, trust me, you wouldn't want to go, man. It's like chaos in there. It's like wall to wall, kids and parents, and it's just pandemonium. And then afterwards, we'd have to clean up the theater because it's always in the biggest like theaters, and we have to clean up the theater like hardcore because we haven't even really opened yet.
Well, here it was during the week too, so I would be working. Yeah. They do. They don't call them summer because they do them year round. They call them Tuesday night classics, and every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, they show one classic movie, and it's $5. And so there's a lot of them that I've wanted to see that I have not been able to go to because I was not able to see that movie in the theaters because I was young, like Jaws. They did Jaws once.
Oh man.
Imagine seeing
fun.
Jaws on the big screen, man.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun. I love seeing. It's more of a newer trend, but where they're showing the 25th, the 30th, the 40th, whatever anniversaries of these movies. They're showing those in the theater, like on limited engagements, where it's like on a Wednesday and on a Saturday at like 2:00. You can go and watch these movies. And I've been and watched some. Like I went and watched Breakfast Club, and I watched different movies that have come out. Watching the anniversaries, like I watched Jurassic Park when it was re-released. Like, oh, so much fun. I don't know. There's just certain movies that it's like, man, it's great to see them on the big screen, man.
Yeah, well, I just always miss out because I work until 6, and typically I wouldn't make it to Harkins by the time the movie's showing, because usually it showed right at 6, so I would have to take like the night off or whatever. Anyway, so flying cars, Back to the Future 2.
Yes.
Miller High Life.
Miller High Life, yes. It makes its appearance again. Of course, it powers Mr. Fusion. Good stuff. Pepsi, Matt, did you what do you think about the weird Pepsi? Didn't it cost like $40?
Yeah,
$45.
Pretty close. Yeah. Doc Brown gave him 100. Said go get a Pepsi. Pepsi Perfect, I think is what it was called. And here's a fun one. Did you recognize who one of the little kids was that was playing the arcade game?
Is it Elijah Wood?
Yeah, it's a Hobbit. And he looks...
It is. It's a Hobbit. It's a Hobbit.
He looks... he still looks like Elijah Wood. He's just like 8 or 9. I mean, he was real young. Hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of other characters in this, Matt, one of your favorite bands has a member in this movie. Do you know who that is?
Of course, Flea. Flea is in Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3.
Oh, man. Yeah. Flea gets so many fun roles. I have no idea how he gets these roles, man. He gets lots of little just side gigs.
His character name is Needles.
It is.
What's surprising
I don't know.
is Flea will pop up and little side things here and there as an extra or whatever, like in this. Anthony Kiedis has only ever done one. Can you name that movie, Mike?
The Chase with what's his face?
Charlie Sheen? No.
Charlie Sheen. Isn't it The Chase? Wasn't it that one where they were driving the little thing and they wreck it?
Point Break.
Oh, he was in Point Break?
Anthony Kiedis was in Point Break. He is part of the white supremacist surfers whose house gets raided. And Anthony Kiedis is the one that gets shot in the foot.
Oh, nice.
He even has speaking lines. He confronts Keanu Reeves when they're at the beach.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep. Anyways, okay. Mike, I had the perfect in way for you to ask me what I was drinking, talking about Miller High Life, but
Matt,
you kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Matt, what are you drinking?
Well, Mike, continuing with Back to the Future and continuing with product placement, I'm drinking another Miller High Life.
Excellent, Matt. I am not drinking an IPA.
Are you drinking a Miller High Life too, in honor of Back to the Future?
No.
Damn it.
I am drinking I don't leave the house much, man. Pandemic.
So what? I know you leave to go get beer. I know you get beer, Mike. Or do they deliver over there?
Well, my wife delivers. She goes and gets the beer. So I am drinking a beer by Sweetwater Brewing, and it's called Super Silver Haze, and it's a lager.
So it's almost an IPA. Is that a gecko? Or is that a fish?
No,
A
it's
salamander.
a fish. It's like a dead fish.
It's a dead fish. It says 420 on it.
Yeah, it's the 420 strain.
For someone that doesn't do drugs, Mike, you drink a lot of stuff that's drug related.
Thanks, Matt.
You drank that one weed beer. Now you're drinking this beer that has 420 on it.
Oh, this is another weed beer. This is one of their weed beers. That's the 420 strain.
Well, Mike, clearly you have a problem. You like drugs and revenge.
Yes, I do. You still got to see that movie, Revenge, man. I'm gonna tell you every time you talk about
You
it.
know, when you finally pay for your subscription to Shudder and then share it with me, I will watch it then.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
Mike.
it on Shudder?
What?
Is it on Shudder currently?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir, it is. And Shudder is only $5 a month. So someone with copious amounts of money coming out of their ass like you can afford $5 a month.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
What is that? One diaper?
Well, yeah. Sure.
Poor Mike. So tired. Okay, fine. I'm going to ask my question since we're almost at a half hour already.
Oh no.
And we haven't talked about
Boy, we
Back to the Future at all.
man. We really Santos this up.
Hell yeah, we did. This is the Santos pod. Welcome to the Real Film Nerd Santos. The Mile High Real Film Nerds. There we go. I like that. All right, Mike. So how does Back to the Future Part 2 relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Matt, thanks for asking. In some fun for me, I decided that I wasn't going to use the same reference over and over again, so I looked for someone else who was involved in MCU, and I was able to find somebody. It was a little bit harder, but Elizabeth Rabe worked in makeup department for this movie and in Iron Man.
I'm wondering if we should make that a rule where if we do a series or a trilogy, you can't use the same guy over and over. Because, I mean, come on. Alan Silvestri, I think, does Back to the Future Part 3's music as well. So,
Yeah, no, I'm going to continue. So for the third one, I'll look for someone different. And I mean, it might be a little bit more difficult because Back to the Future 2 and 3 were shot simultaneously. So this might be the first movie to do that. I don't know. I know The Matrix did that, and The Lord of the Rings, they shot all of them at once, right? I think they shot
was
all
it Lord of the
them at
Rings or
once.
Hobbit that they shot all
Or
at
was
once?
Hobbit?
I think it was Hobbit.
Ah, man. Yeah, it might have been Hobbit, and that was like 3 parts, right?
Right, yeah.
What else has been 2 things at once? Like, did some of the Hunger Games stuff? I don't know. There's quite a few movies that end up kind of trying to do this. I think to try and save money by doing it all at once. And
Well, I think for Back to the Future, the third part and the second part are so interconnected because Part 3 came out in 1990.
it did.
So-
it did. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just to accelerate Part 3 coming out instead of people having to wait.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was.
Did you remember? I didn't remember this, but at the end of Part 2, there was a teaser for Part 3.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was on my Blu-ray.
Oh, nice.
They showed a bunch of scenes for Part 3, and they're like, coming in 1990.
Nice. What else was shot at the same time, Matt? There's something I'm forgetting.
Was John Wick? Like 2 and 3?
No, was it one of the Harry Potter movies or something? I don't know.
I didn't watch those.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, I didn't watch the Potter.
I was just trying to think of like
Oh.
trilogy movies.
You know what? It probably was like something like Twilight.
Oh, it was Twilight.
Ha!
Good job, Matt.
Woo!
Good job, Matt.
And those I did see. Except for the last one. I was not in a relationship where I was being forced to go watch Twilight in the theaters. So,
Team Jacob or Team what's the other one? What's the other dude?
Edward,
Wasn't Edward? Yeah.
dude, Team Jacob all the way. Come on. Come on.
All right.
Team Edward.
All right.
Just because he's sparkly means he's cool? No. I don't care, Mr. Sparkles. You don't look like a vampire. You're not scary. You sparkle. Vampires that sparkle are not scary. Go watch What We Do in the Shadows. Those vampires are awesome.
Yes, they are.
Freaking love that movie and that show. Love it. Anyways, okay, Back to the Future. Mike, give us more trivia. Come on. I know you have more trivia. Like, did you notice Billy Zane this time?
Yeah, man. Of course he did. Let's see. Something cool about this. This was interesting. I kind of remembered this, but every time I watch it, the second one and the third one, I'm always like, oh yeah, Elizabeth Shue was cast as Jennifer, and all the closing shots of Back to the Future were reshot for the beginning of this film. Claudia Wells, Jennifer in the first film, was unable to reprise her role as she had stopped acting because her mother had been diagnosed with cancer. She returned to acting with the independent film Still Water Burn in 2008.
Wow. That's tough. That's real tough, especially with a franchise that blew up like that. But she probably made the right choice, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right, Mike, what did you think about, like, I had this whole thing thought out before we sat down to record, and we haven't talked about any of it. But some of the,
Good job.
like, I liked the future, you know, going to the future was cool. All the things in the future was fun and neat and interesting. I wasn't a super huge fan of the timeline when they went back. Like, I liked how they were explaining time travel and how altering things and how much you can truly alter a timeline by some of the things that they did or they did not intend doing, such as Biff getting the almanac and going back. Rick and Morty does a lot of stuff like that, which is inspired by this show. But I liked that, but I wasn't a huge fan of that whole alternate universe, and I felt like it took up a really large chunk of this film. I wanted to see more future. You know, I wanted more future.
Yeah, it did take up a lot of this film. I think it was because a lot of the future stuff is like hard to figure out, and what are they going to do and stuff. So I think they lean heavy on the other side.
Well, and the technical aspects. I mean, even trying to get the DeLorean to fly, you know, and then on top of all the other stuff, like the shoes lacing out. I mean, that this is, you know, the late 80s. There's no CGI back then.
Not yet. CGI is just about to come out with 91? Really hit hard with Terminator 2 Judgment Day and then Jurassic Park. Those movies like killed it.
T2 was 92, wasn't it?
I think it was 91, dude. Hold on.
To the internet.
Internets.
Yeah. Mike is going to the unofficial sponsor of the Real Film Nerd podcast app of IMDb on his no-named fruit smartphone device.
91, man. 91.
Damn it. I swear I thought it was 92.
Dude, I remember watching it in like 91 on a bootlegged edition. Well, it must have been 92. Must have been 92 at my friend's house. And it was like, I was like 10 years old and it was like amazing.
I remember watching in the theater.
Oh, I didn't get to see this one in the theater.
Oh yeah, dude.
You lucky.
Me and my buddy, my one friend at the time, because I was still in private school, we went and snuck in at R&M Cinema and watched Terminator 2. A rated R movie at 9 or 10 years old.
Dude, they didn't really care. Well, maybe they cared before there was competition, but when there came competition, their morals went out the window. They were like, you could reach the counter and you got the money. I don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we got in, watched it. It was awesome. It was mind blowing. Loved it.
It was mind blowing, but like Cameron did some stuff kind of like this in Abyss, which I think is 89. I think.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff in
And,
this. Yeah.
Well, the CGI stuff, and then 93 with Jurassic Park. I mean, geez, it really blew things out of the water, man.
Jurassic Park was amazing. I love that movie. All right, Mike. Well, we can sit here and talk all day about stuff not related to Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I think we've done pretty good. So I'll go ahead and ask this, Mike. How many reels do you give Back to the Future Part 2?
I'm going to give part 2 4.5 reels. I really liked it, but it's not quite as good as the first one.
Wow. So I'm the dick today then.
Whoa. No way. What are you doing?
I only give Back to the Future Part 2 a 4 out of 5 reels.
Oh, man, you are. Finally we disagree. Good job, Matt.
You know why? Because I did not like how much time they spent in the alternate universe. I liked it, but I thought they spent too much time in it. And then one of the other things, and I know, I mean, we can argue for it or against it or whatever, was the cop-out of using a lot of the original Back to the Future story and film and filming location in this movie, like redoing the Enchantment Under the Sea dance and redoing the fight and going back to 1955 and all that stuff, and specifically that day. I thought they could have done better with the story, I guess. Like, they could have picked another day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I know it's a little bit convoluted, but it kind of shows you how messy time travel is.
Yeah. Well, but there's something, as Doc Brown explained, there must be something significant about that day. That's why we're going back to November 12th, 1955, you know? It's like, come on, man. I'm not a huge Crispin Glover. No, I don't think he comes back for the rest of the series.
No, actually, it's some trivia, Matt. I wasn't gonna bring it up because negative, but he got in a fight with Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis about kind of how the first one ended, and basically said he wasn't going to sign on for the other ones, and then he sued for the second one because they were kind of using his likeness, because they used he had done like molds in the first one to like be older or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You know, like he did the latex molds. Well, they put it on a different person and then kind of used some camera tricks to never show him up close and stuff.
For the future. Okay.
Yeah.
For the future Grandpa McFly.
Yeah. And so he sued, and instead of going to court, Universal just ended up paying him. I think they paid him like $700,000.
Because that was one thing that always kind of bothered me in this one, and as we'll talk about next week, is how all the fathers that are married to Leah Thompson now look like Marty McFly. Like, they don't look like Crispin Glover.
Yeah, he sued because they didn't want his likeness to be used, and anyway, I guess it kind of got bad there. So I didn't want to bring it up because it's kind of a negative thing, and we're trying to do positive things, man.
No, well, that's interesting trivia, though. So
it is. I didn't know that happened, and I was like, oh, wow. I mean, there's always these things. Like Michael J. Fox didn't know they were going to make a sequel until he was watching the VHS of Back to the Future, and it said "to be continued."
That's awesome.
So he called his agent and said, "Hey, am I going to be in it?"
He's like, "I better be. I didn't get paid." That's awesome. Well, you know, Back to the Future Part 2 says to be concluded. So luckily they ended with 3. They didn't keep going. But I'll not to keep this podcast going longer than we should, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Mike, there's certain films that you just cannot remake. And I wholeheartedly believe that the Back to the Future franchise is one that they should leave alone. Do you think that Universal will ever try and do a money grab and remake it?
So my answer is absolutely yes, they will try and do that, but they cannot do it until Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis die.
Okay. So good. So we won't see it until we're much older. Great.
Yeah, because they, I believe they hold the rights to it in a way that Universal can't just make a film.
Right. They own probably like the character story, intellectual property rights, I think is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said they will not make another one. So that's great. We have grown up with a massive amount of remakes already, and it's kind of it's interesting to see every 10 to probably 15 years that they redo something. Like I've seen Friday the 13th redone. I've seen A Nightmare on Elm Street redone. It tends to be a lot of horrors because those are real cheap and easy to remake, but there's quite a few movies that they just redo, and I usually don't like them. And I don't know if it's I don't like them because they're not like the same, or I don't know. Like there's certain things like, Matt, would you ever? I never want them to remake The Goonies or like there's so many good movies that just like they couldn't remake Jurassic Park. Like you can't do that, but they kind of did with Jurassic World, I guess.
No, that's exactly what Jurassic World is. Yeah, it's a modern day retelling of Jurassic Park. I mean, well, shit, dude. Okay, we're gonna go down this path. It's gonna get long. Suck it up.
You started.
They
it.
remade Star Wars. Like they did. They did. Episode 7, 8, 9 are all remakes of the originals. They just are. The prequels are not. The prequels were something else. Which, what's interesting about the prequels is that they're actually starting to get love because they're all starting to hit their 20-year anniversaries right now. And so people are looking back fondly at the prequels because the kids that saw those in the theaters are now adults. And so they're like really loving the prequels now, even though everybody hated them. I have to say I did not like the prequels. I didn't hate them, but I wasn't a huge fan, especially of episode 1 and episode 2. I like bits and pieces of the first 2 movies. The one prequel I really did enjoy, though, was episode 3. I really liked episode 3 because it was so freaking dark. But those 3 films were not remakes of the originals. 7, 8, and 9 are. So, but that's what one of the questions I was going to ask you, Mike, but you kind of answered it yourself. You're right. Most of the horror franchises that we grew up loving have been remade. Are there any films that were remade today or within the past, I don't know, let's say 10 years, that you thought were great remakes that were on the level of the original, if not better?
The Halloween remake that came out, was it last year or 2 years ago, was really good.
I was going to say the same thing. The most recent Halloween remake was very good. And then the one before it, even though Rob Zombie did it, no.
No, I know. I like Rob Zombie for multiple reasons, but I did not really like that movie.
No, but that new Halloween was incredible. It had the feel of it. It was an original story to a degree. I really enjoyed that new one. It was good.
Yeah, no, I liked the new one quite a bit. I thought that one was really good. Yeah, but like everything's being remade. It was remade last.
But do you consider it a remake because originally it was on TV? It was not a movie theater movie.
Kind of. I kind of do. I mean, Pet Sematary was just remade. Basically, all of Stephen King's things are basically going back into being remade. I don't know why. Maybe rights.
Money. Just they want more money. It's a known product, But I mean, the Pet Sematary remake, I mean, we reviewed it here, and I don't think either of us were really super thrilled with it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't like Halloween, where Halloween was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, the It movies were great.
Yeah, they were incredible.
I think I liked the first one better, but
definitely.
The kids stuff was cool, but when they were adults, it wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't as good. No, let's see, what else has been remade lately that's like, I'm trying to think of anything. There's so many things that are always being remade, and I'm like, oh no, they're doing that every time. I'm always like, they're gonna screw that up. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, I don't mind a remake if at least it's standable, passable. But when they screw it up really, really bad, and you can tell from the trailer, I won't go see it. Because that's one thing, I know a lot of people that go and review movies do not ever watch the trailers. I always watch the trailers. I don't watch them religiously, but you and I, we're big fans of the trailers. We go to the theater to watch the trailers to see what's coming, But I can tell some of these remakes from the trailer if it's going to be good or not. And most of the time it's not. And it's like, how do you not see? You guys screwed this up. You should have stopped.
Yeah. No, there's always, I don't know. They're just going to keep remaking movies, especially well-known franchises and things that people might go watch, even if it doesn't do well. Often it'll do better than it would have without having any name recognition. So
I got one for you, Mike. It wasn't a remake though, but it was a sequel.
They're remaking the one. Oh shit! What's where you look in the mirror and you say his name 3 times?
Oh, Candyman.
Yeah, dude, that's coming out, and that's like Jordan Peele, I think, is involved. Yeah, I think he's doing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he.
So that might be good.
I'm not sure if he directed or wrote it, but I think he's producing it, so it might be good. I don't know. We'll see. But the ultimate one, at least for me personally, it was not a remake, but it was a sequel that never should have been done. Crystal Skull.
Oh, no, yeah, that was super bad.
That was absolutely ridiculous. That never should have been done. That movie was trash. To this day, I still say there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. And it just hurt because it was George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, man. And it was like, did they even try? Did they not realize what they were doing?
I don't know what happened with that. You're right. It just didn't seem like all cylinders were firing. Oh man, I thought of another movie and now I lost it. But there's so many movies that are redone.
Or how about movies that were TV shows that are now made into films, like Miami Vice, Chips.
Yeah.
One that I actually enjoyed, but I'm a big Ben Stiller fan, was Starsky and Hutch. I liked that movie. I'm not going to say it was fantastic, but I thought that was a pretty fun movie.
Oh man, I just remembered. It was like The Predator, the most recent Predator.
Jesus, that was so
terrible,
bad.
Dude.
That was so bad. And
it's terrible.
They left it open for a sequel to it.
Yeah.
That's just painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
Painful.
Predator 1 and 2, man. Those 2 were good. Well, all right, Mike. Next week, Back to the Future Part Trace.
All right. Back to the Future Part Trace.
We will finish our summer retrospective on Back to the Future. And Micah, what's the movie we're talking about the week after that? It's a new movie coming out on the old Disney Plus. Husker Du.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this movie called Artemis Fowl.
Is it about a bird?
No, it's
Does it swear a lot?
I think it's no, I don't think so.
Does it smell?
No, I don't think it's called Artemis Phallus.
Whoa. That's a hell of a stride for Disney there. Artemis Phallus. He just kills everyone with his wiener. He chokes him to death with his wiener.
I think it's like a popular teen book series about somebody who goes through a venture. So it was originally slated to be released in the theaters, but due to the whole COVID-19 stuff, they're releasing it straight to video on demand or Disney Plus, and we'll review that and get that up there so you can hear our reviews on that one. And hopefully the movies will start back up on like July 12th or 11th or whatever, whenever the new Christopher Nolan movie Tenet comes out. I really hope that they open up for that.
Oh, dude, that looks so good.
I'll be there with my hazmat suit watching it,
Of course.
trying not to like crinkle.
I'm looking forward to watching that one. That one looks good. But so, Mike, this is, I think, Disney Plus's first straight to Disney Plus release, because you can kind of consider Onward, but not, because Onward was released in the theaters.
It was. It did have a fairly limited run for Pixar, especially, but COVID and all that stuff. So
Yeah. And so they threw it up on Disney Plus, and I did watch it. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was kind of weird, man. I thought it didn't really know where it was going. It's kind of like a D&D adventure, fantasy, I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it was a hodgepodge. It was a mess, but it still was kind of fun. The thing that bothered and disturbed me the most about Onward was the legs running around all the time. I'm like, dude, they're kids watching this shit. This is like weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
That was a bit much for, a kid audience, in my opinion. And then it just kind of got hokey. Like they kept doing gags with the legs running around and stuff. The first couple ones were funny, but they didn't stop with it. So anyway, sorry, I'll stop talking about Onward so we can end the podcast. But all right, Mike. Well, I got a thing to say. I did not do radio today this morning. Lisa texted me this morning and said because of the climate and everything that's going on, she didn't feel that it was right to have something fun and kind of jokey and lighthearted on the radio because of all the madness. So she kept it more serious today on the radio. So she's like, we'll just talk next week. So there is no radio interview this week after the pod.
Oh, man. All right.
Not my decision, man. Not my decision. She's the boss. She's the one that actually gets paid to do radio. So
anyway, I guess with that, catch us on the socials and, make sure you go out there and watch a movie.
What about our Facebook group?
Stream a movie.
Fans of the Real Film Nerds. That's a good fun group. I'm trying to get people to join it slowly.
Oh yeah.
I only have so many friends though, and most of them don't like me. They're just in it to see my photos on the internet and see my rants instead of support my podcast. Mom.
Oh, okay.
No, what's our new catch line? You used it last week, Mike. Your new ending. It's not now go out and catch a movie. Do you remember what it is, Mike?
No, I'd have to.
How dare you! I changed
review.
it.
I didn't write it down.
I even officially changed it on our website, Mike. Like in our show notes and stuff, because I always end it with "go out and watch a movie." It's go watch as many movies as you can.
Yeah. I mean, might as well, right? No one's working.
Yeah, I'm working.
It's like 40 million people out of work. They're all in the streets, I guess.
But they got smartphones.
They do. Yeah, you can stream it all on your smartphone.
And masks for writing. God, it's like a perfect storm, man. Because all these people out of work, nothing to do, all this pent up energy, and they have nowhere to be. Let's go. Let's go steal some shit. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
All right,
for sure.
All right, Mike, end it. Let's get out of here.
Okay. All right. So everybody, go watch as many movies as you can, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now go out and catch a movie.